Hello YouTube and welcome to Monday's edition of The Breakfast Club. Got that funk here. Thanks for watching. Sorry I have to speak in such hushed tones, and my laptop is actually on my lap at the moment, so it will be a bit jiggly. We're talking about death this week. Josh brought it up on Saturday, and there are so many different ways that I've thought about taking this video, and I think it would be a disservice to all of those different ways if I tried to encompass them all in one video. So I've just decided to go with it this particular way and deal with an aspect of bereavement. When I was in my early 20s, my uncle died. I think I was about 22, about to turn 23 when he died. He was 45 years old, and he was one of the healthiest people I ever met up until he got a tumor in his head. And after he was diagnosed with brain cancer, he'd lasted less than 6 months. And there was an awful lot of family politics going on at the time to do with a previous bereavement and subsequent will. So when my uncle actually died, there was a lot of discord in the wider extended family. And at the funeral, right before he was laid to rest, the preacher, I guess, said, was anybody like to say anything about the dearly departed before we lay him to rest once and for all? And I wanted to speak, but I didn't want to be the first one to speak. But there was a pregnant pause, and I realized no one else was going to say anything, so maybe I had to be the first one to speak, and then people would follow me. So I piped in and talked about what an influence my uncle was in my life and how much I admired and respect him and all that kind of thing. And when I concluded my remarks, no one else said anything. And this really sort of shaped how I feel about death, in particular my own demise specifically, because everyone that I know well enough, my best friends, my family members, who I'm absolutely certain would at least attempt to be at my funeral if I was to pass away, they all know without a shred of doubt that I expect them to say something. And of course, I'll not be aware of what they say. It's not as if you've got a seat in invisible land somewhere, watching over your funeral. But it's important to me to know now, while I am alive, that they all know that it would mean something. It would have meant something to me that they said something, even if all they can say is, I'm too upset to say anything. That's better than nothing as far as I'm concerned. And so, yeah, my kids know that. My extended family knows that. My best friends know that. And some of them I've actually burdened with the task of saying something important because, they've known me for X number of years or whatever. Again, I'm aware perfectly that I'll not be cognizant of any of this after I'm dead. But it matters to me while I'm alive. And I personally think that my ability to say what I said at the time helped me with my bereavement at the time as well. Because, things were a bit strained with my uncle for about a year before that, owing to all the family drama. So, yeah, it can bring closure to say something. And I think that's... all my life, the whole idea of dying doesn't scare me so much. The actual process of dying is a little bit daunting because you don't necessarily know how you're going to go out. But, the prospect of being extinct from this earth doesn't scare me so much as being forgotten. This has been the case ever since I was a little kid. The idea that you might be forgotten means that you effectively never existed. After a certain period of time, that's true for almost everybody. And the only exceptions are people who, discover something amazing like Albert Einstein or do something terrible like Adolf Hitler. So the only way to really get remembered throughout the ages is to do something extraordinary. And most of us are just ordinary. So the people who can remember me, I want to make sure that they know that I want them to remember me out loud at that time. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. Sorry it's so shaky. Anyway, JJ Talks is up next. We'll see what she's got to say. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.